Hello class, I'm going to do my impromptu speech. My wife has given me 3 questions and I'm going to explain. If you can see in the viewfinder my blinds next to me. My wife and I have a 100-pound Rottweiler that thinks everything that's outside of this window is his business. So he's pretty well tore up our blinds. So if you're wondering what that is, that's a 100-pound Rottweiler at work. Okay, my wife's asked me 3 questions here. The first one is, what is my view on gun control? Now, she knows that this has been interesting to me. I've been a big Second Amendment advocate for a lot of years. Have owned a lot of guns in the past. My last class in research writing, I did a paper. My final paper was done on gun control. And so she's asked me 3 questions here on gun control. So here we go. My view on gun control. I found out through my research that there is no correlation between gun control and gun violence. We have concealed carry in all 50 states as of this year. I know we have concealed carry in all 50 states. Gun violence has not been deterred. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we're over 100 homicides for this year. There were times past when 100 would have been a record for the year. Here we are in October and we're over 100 already. So the laws have not affected gun violence. So anytime you see anybody trying to pass a law to either loosen up gun control or tighten it down, it's a political motivation, because the statistics don't show that any type of gun control reduces gun violence. It just doesn't happen. So I've owned a lot of guns in the past, and I have believed very, very highly in the Second Amendment. Still do. In those days, my beliefs were probably contrary to Scripture, as far as, I kind of took the cowboy approach and said that, pull myself up by my own bootstraps. I'll fix things, and if somebody enters my house, I'll blow their brains out. Well, I'm not sure that exactly fits with Scripture. The premise of gun control is totally politically motivated. Okay, do you believe in gun ownership is my wife's next question. I think I probably already answered that. Yes, I believe in gun ownership. She asked me earlier, what would I do? Because I've gone from owning, I don't even know how many guns I own. Automatic, semi-automatic rifles, and pistols of all sorts. But I own nothing at this point. Now, my wife said, what would I do to protect my family? Well, after seeing the movie Point of the Spear, when the missionaries went into South America and had the weapons on their plane, but didn't take them into the village where they were going, because they didn't want to be responsible for putting anybody in hell. Now, my Christianity says that hell's real, that it exists, it's real. So, what would I do to protect my family? a gun is in the future for us. You know, we will have another pistol or two. But I think I'm not willing to put anybody in hell. So my point would be, you know, shoot the person that's in your house, planning on doing you or your family harm. You know, shoot them in the thigh. You know, shoot them in a body part of the body, chest, but on the side where there's no organs, above the lungs. You know, up in this region. Chances are they're not going to desire to do you any harm once they have a slug in them. So I believe in gun ownership. I believe that the Second Amendment gives us that right. You know, I believe it's an individual right, not as some have argued as a collective right. I believe it's an individual right for us as Americans to be able to own guns. Okay, this last question is a little bit tougher. My wife is posing the question of gun violence. It's getting worse. You know, we're seeing churches get involved. We have a group here in Indianapolis called the 10-Point Coalition, and they go out regularly into the high crime areas and try to lower the rate of gun violence. The question of whether it's effective is, I think it's up in the air. So, what's the answer? Well, I don't believe that gun control is the answer. I don't believe there's any correlation between gun control and gun violence. So, as one of my pastors used to say, the heart of the matter is always a matter of the heart. So, we have to change man's hearts. They need Jesus. I mean, and that, I believe that is the only solution. You know, you can make somebody or have somebody make all kinds of promises. And,
okay.
All right. A little delay there. I know I'm a blabbermouth, but I just ran the batteries down on the camera, so I apologize. Anyway, the only way anything is going to change is through man's heart changing. And we're in desperate need in this country of a revival. You know, so the answer is not going to come in church. Church is not the answer. Jesus is the answer. You know, church can be helpful afterwards in discipling and praying and giving the folks that might have problems with violence, giving them something constructive to do. But this world has no answers. They've tried to control guns. You know, they've gone from back in the very beginning of this country, there were laws that would allow you had to own a gun. And then they went through some periods where you couldn't even own a Bowie knife or a dagger, let alone a gun. So the answer is not in laws. Gun violence is not going to be controlled by legislation. So we have to change the heart of man.